Hello, everybody, and welcome to UnCoMfY CoNvOs. This is episode number 20 with your boy Shiv, your guy, your dude, your man, whatever you want to call me. And today we're going to talk about virginity anxiety. I don't know if any listeners, I know I attract an alpha, or a crowd that's maybe not. If you are a virgin, basically, I've had a lot of anxiety around being a virgin. So, and I'm not, but we'll touch upon that later on. And if you might have anxiety.
Maybe you should do a podcast about anxiety with intros, because that was insane. You had 3 sentences to get through, and you're basically shitting a brick. I can't even imagine what the girl that you first touched was like. That must have been really... You're like, well, okay, can I do? You talk like Woody Allen. You're a 90-year-old Jew stuck in a 22-year-old Indian boy's body.
No, I'm a very confident man. So just listen. So virginity anxiety, and to talk about this anxiety, you heard him already. Usually they talk at the end of the intro, but this is a unique episode. And he's a killer comedian. I met him in Boston. He tore up the comedy scene in Boston. Now he's tearing up the comedy scene in New York. He came into New York. He was so funny. People were like, who's this guy? We got to get to know him better. And he's also a co-host of the Series Finale podcast. Follow that at Series Finale podcast on Instagram. They have Stolen Valor July coming up, which, I don't even know about it. So you gotta follow it to figure it out. So without further introduction, thank you so much for being on, Jack Burke.
Wow. Thank you, Shiv. That was really impressive. You should tell your therapist that you knocked it out of the park with that, because I'm in awe of that. As a fellow broadcaster in the podcast industry, none can do it like that, really. I'm sorry, Shiv. I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah.
But Shiv, I feel like, to let your listeners know, let your father know that you and I have a good rapport, that when I give you shit, it's only from, out of a place of love.
Yeah, and he's going to hear that statement, so we're good. We covered. Yeah. Good. I just to start off, I'm wondering, are you a virgin?
I'm not a virgin, but only just because I was an altar boy for many years. So no, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. That joke was so bad. It didn't make any sense, dude. And it totally, I fumbled through that joke like you fumbled through the introduction. It was really not good. I'm not a virgin, but I'm also not, I wasn't a stud at all in high school. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19. What was I? That's late.
That's an early age. Oh.
That's late age.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. 19 is pretty old,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely.
You were what?
Maybe around 21.
21. See, that's not that big of a difference when you think about it. But I think our mindsets were much different. I was ready for it to happen, but I had a girlfriend for a long time. It was kind of in high school, the whole thing. You seemed like you were nervous for it to happen. You wanted it to happen, but you weren't even sure if you wanted it to happen. When I met you, that's why we're talking about this, because when I met Shiv, he was a virgin at open mics, sort of ranting about his nerves about possibly having sex for the first time. It just led to some interesting conversations, because I was kind of a jerk, and I would just be like, don't be a psycho. Just, if you had the opportunity to go for it, you got to get it out so that you can move on with your life. If you let it build up, it becomes a problem,
Yeah.
And then, and people would be like, you're a jerk. And I was like, I don't think I'm being that crazy. I'm just fucking with the kid anyways. I don't really give a shit if he loses his virginity. I really have no stake in it. It's just funny, It's just good conversation.
Yeah. I remember the first time when we were talking about it, and I was describing some of my first intimate experiences, and how having a kiss like the first kiss I ever, like it was the biggest deal to me. Like it just, my eyes, you know, wide open. Like I just was scared of what was going on. I was confused. And I you know, I know I'm straight. Like, and that's, you know, like and that
how sure can you be? You know, how sure can any of us be? To be honest, like if you haven't tried it, you don't even know. So
right.
Let's not sit in a world of absolutes, Shiv. But come on, continue.
So I was describing like that first experience, and you were so intrigued. And one of the things that was my reservation, even dating in general, like before I get intimate with someone, I'm very like, oh, like, is this gonna work long term? You know, like at the beginning, like first date-ish.
Yeah. I remember that.
And that's like where kind of I feel like we had different perspectives, because I was like so like, you know, uptight.
Yes. It was like you were like, I remember thinking like you wanted to like be in love with these people. You know, you were like, well, I don't know if I want to kiss her. I want to really make sure there's a connection first. It's like I can somewhat understand that with sex, but you know, a makeout. You're 21. Relax.
Yeah. But like holding.
But why did you feel that way? Like, what was your upbringing so that was like, oh, it has to be more connected?
Yeah, I would say growing up like more in a, I wouldn't even say it's a conservative Indian household. Definitely an Indian household. I know I grew up in an Indian household. I'm trying to figure out how conservative it was in my head right now.
Okay.
But you know.
Well, give me a range. What's the most conservative to like the least conservative?
Most conservative is like parents or people don't want to hear about you dating anyone. Like unless it's like someone who's Indian or like someone within your culture.
Yeah.
And like it's later on, like in high school and stuff, like it was weird if I was like dating someone, like I didn't feel fully comfortable sharing that with family or like with just like because of and it could have been me too, like might have not just been parents or family, but it was just like, oh, like, you know, like it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, like I don't know, it's not as socially acceptable within like in maybe a conservative Indian.
But your parents really never sat you down and told you this. You just sort of pieced it together.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
and
you sort of just from what they put out into the world and their vibe and sort of how they dealt with your older sisters, you were like, I should keep any of this stuff to myself.
Yeah.
All right.
Or I should keep this stuff to myself, or like, you know, I never felt like in high school, like in a car ride or something, be like, oh, I, you know, find this girl really cute in school. Like if I said that out loud, I would feel like, what'd you just do? That's horrible. How could you have said that? Like that's like,
dude. That's so.
And now at 24, I can say that, like in a car or something, in a car ride or with my family, and it'll be like, oh yeah, that's normal, you know. But it took me till that age.
Right. That's so interesting. So you've made a lot of strides.
Made a lot of strides.
Right. So where are you at right now? So how many women have you fucked? And are you seeing anybody? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to get a number, but I know your dad listens. I don't know if he's ready for that. He'd probably be proud, you know?
Low key, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, continuing to date, whatever. Like, I'm still talking to people, like all that. I think I still have that philosophy of like caring about someone like a lot before I ever go into something.
Dude, and that's super sweet. That can like really, I think that would, it's like so uncommon for a kid your age to like want a connection. I think that it should, honestly, you can play it to your advantage, which sounds insane. I'm not like some sort of like, you gotta, you know, trick these women, but like, don't worry, being a sweet guy will get you laid. You'll be all right.
Yeah. And honestly, dude, and one of the things that I tried to do, I think to like hide the insecurity of being a virgin, I was like, and I do it on stage still, like at mics or at shows, I'll like herald virginity. I'll be like, virginity's great. Like, you guys are missing out.
It's very cool. Yeah. Quite like that. Like when Billy Madison like urinated his pants to like show that it was cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like when his friend peed his pants and he was trying to cover up. Yeah, I get that move.
Yeah.
Like, oh, actually, it's super cool to be a virgin.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work because, like, Disney stars try that all the time and everybody sees right through it immediately.
Yeah, no, you're right. It doesn't work at all. Like one of the things that I've tried in New York, like just as a new thing, is like whatever. Like I have this bit where I'm like, oh, like people will go up to me. I used to get bullied for. I'm like, I'm almost a virgin, or I used to be a virgin. I say something like that,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I'm like, I used to get bullied for it. People would be like, yo, bro, what's your body count?
Whoa.
And I'm like, well, I haven't killed anybody, you know. So like a quick like, twist, and then they're just like, he's like, no, I mean, how many people have you had sex with? I'm like, I've had sex with nobody. He's like, you're a loser. I'm like, no, I'm a winner. You're the loser because you're the one who's lost your virginity, you know?
Yeah, that's really killer stuff.
And then I'm like, and then you'll forever be a loser of your virginity, whatever. And then I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I like look at someone in the audience and I'm like, not you, like you don't look like a virgin. And then I'm like, you look like you do a good job, you know?
Why are you doing the bit, Shiv? You're giving me anxiety while you do this bit to me. You went through every single part of the joke.
Right.
I mean, I get the idea that like you try to play to your advantage when you were younger. Like, oh, it's actually cool to be a virgin. Yeah. But you know, that's because. But you know, the guy who also is talking about body count and stuff, he's just as insecure as the guy who's lost their virginity or is still a virgin. You know, it's all the same. Like everybody's just a nervous wreck before they're like 30, and I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm like still a bit of a nervous Nelly when it comes to all this stuff. But yeah, you know, it does come like with, you know, more dates you go on, the more comfortable you're at it. Like it's more, you know, more women you've had like sex with or whatever, made out with, like the more comfortable you are and the more comfortable you get at bombing, you know. You do terrible, like, you know, you when you first have like sex, you're like, oh, I hope it's good. Yeah. By the like 15th person, you're just like, you know, if it doesn't go well, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've even thought about that. Like, sex isn't something you can like practice, right? It's not like, you know, like I played tennis growing up. Like, I would like hit against the board.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm bored, I like go out, hit against the, like, you can't just like go outside and be like, hey, anyone want to practice? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you can, but you have, you can, like,
really?
There are options, but yeah, definitely, dude. Like, you can have sex with like people you don't really care about, but you sort of have this like thing about you have to have a connection with them.
Yeah.
You know, so that puts you in kind of a bad position for practice because every time you have sex, you're gonna be like, "This is because I love her."
Yeah. But that's so. Then I feel like that would have to be a mutual understanding among like the people, right? Like, say you're out at a bar or something, wherever you are, you find someone attractive, you start talking to them. Like, are you both like at the beginning, like generally in America, or like is the general vibe of a younger person? I don't know, because I have a different mindset. Like, is it like, oh, let's you know, just have fun?
I don't really like, no, I mean, it's been years since I like picked up a girl at a bar, you know. I've been sober for 5 years. I've got a wife to be. I'm just like, yeah. I think that you know, if you go into every, like, you can have casual sex, Shiv. Yeah. You don't need to like, and you say you can't practice like you practice tennis, but like, that's exactly what casual sex is. It's with the casual like friend or partner or whatever, and if you are relaxed, people like will catch your drift, you know.
Yeah, which I am.
Yeah, you're wicked relaxed, I can tell. You're freaking sweating bullets. There's not even a woman in your town.
I'm sweating so much. It's so hot.
It's like, it doesn't, you see, I remember when you finally had sex, right? Yeah. And you called me and Zach and we had you on the phone and we were dying laughing because it's like, you're just like a normal, nice kid. You're attractive, and like, it's no better time in America right now to be like, you know, a person of color, 24 on a college campus. I mean, come on. Every girl is trying to disappoint their father right now, you know? Okay. Come on now. You should be killing it out there. You're a funny guy. You're fun to be around. And instead of like just being casual and cool for like 5 seconds, you just decide to go with like, hey, I really hope this means something to you. It's important that we have a connection before we finger bang underneath the dock. Like, you're just setting yourself up for.
But like in that case, right? Like I still, it's a foreign concept. You're teaching me, but I think that like
I'm not teaching you. I don't know. That's the thing. I want to really make sure that your listeners know that your dad knows that I am not any sort of expert on anything. I have a degree in the Holocaust, and I barely know anything about that.
Well, I see what you're saying. I would say, like, to that point, like, how do you? So you say you stay relaxed, people catch your drift, which maybe I'm working on that, but like I think that generally, like, you don't go up to someone and you're like, hey, practice, like what, like you don't. That's not.
Are you out of your fucking mind? No, you don't go up to somebody and say, hey, can I have practice sex with you? What are you, out of your fucking gourd? No, shit, that's not what you do. I don't even know what you do, but I can tell you that's not what you do. You just, it should happen somewhat naturally. And, like, think about all the dating apps. You should be all right. How tall are you, Shiv?
5'7".
How often do you think that comes up? Do you think that prevents you from getting laid more often? Or is it your inclination to tell them that you love them?
Yeah, more of the vibe of like the initial, because I'll talk to a lot of people, but like, or like at least through the apps and stuff or whatever, but it's like,
yeah,
I think the vibe of like, oh, like we matched on Tinder, like we're getting married. I think that's the problem.
That's definitely the problem, not the short king status. Because even like right now, dude, short kings are having a moment,
Really?
Oh, definitely, dude. There's like, I think there was like a big Twitter thing about all these women that were like taller than their boyfriends being like, we love our short kings. I don't know. It's,
that's amazing.
Yeah. My fiance, she actually, the one thing she dislikes about me is my height. Every other guy she's been with has been 5'4" or shorter. No, just kidding. Not 5'4".
Oh, okay. All right.
That'd be legally like a dwarf.
Yeah, but still, it's not about how tall you are physically. It's about how you carry yourself.
Right. And so where's your confidence?
Yeah.
Where is your confidence, Shiv? I'm asking. I'm curious.
It's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
See this? This is 100. I'm oozing confidence right now.
You've always been confident talking to me and like your comedian friends.
That's the thing though. Like that's the thing. Whenever you're attracted to someone, right? Like that falls apart sometimes. For me, at least. Like
don't be attracted to them. You don't have to be attracted to these people. You're just trying to do practice. That's your big problem. You keep going for women that you find attractive.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Skip that. You're close with your father, right?
Yes.
What does your father think about all this? Does he want you to find one person and get married to them?
Yeah, he does, but he's like, he takes the approach of like, or especially lately, it's like, have fun, like just like
fun.
He's like, figure it out.
Right. So it has nothing to do with like your culture.
No.
Your parents were like, we Americanized the hell out of all our kids, and yet Shiv is holding on to the old country.
That's what's happening.
Oh, that's so funny, bro.
But I brought up the reason I was saying that bit earlier fully was because at the end you're talking about like heralding, like we were talking about heralding virginity, and like at the end of the bit I'll be like, and there's nothing wrong with being a virgin. Like I'll say this to the audience. I'm like, and then I'm like, go virginity, and then like I think that'll always get a laugh, but it never does because people don't agree.
No, I think it's probably because you've made them very uncomfortable at that point.
You think so?
Go virginity, like, I think it's probably more joke structure than it is,
Yeah, it's supposed to be comedic. I'm not trying to like start, but I kind of want to comedically start.
No. I mean, it would be, if it got a big laugh, then I would say, but you're saying it doesn't get a big laugh, right? When you say go virginity.
I think people are like, also like, there's a part of them that's like, no, not go virgin. Like, I don't want to,
Dude, I don't think people are judging virgins that often. I mean, they'll make fun of a virgin, but nobody's like, hey, I don't want to be friends with you because you're not getting pussy.
Yeah.
Like, Shiv, you wouldn't, that would just be strange.
I would have had no friends till I was 21.
Exactly. People, and most, nobody really gives a shit about that stuff,
Yeah.
I don't think. But I do think, you get to a certain age and people are like, this person's, I mean, people will make fun of you behind your back. They'll be like, this guy's a virgin. That's odd, right? Or they'll just assume you're gay at some point, and that you're in the closet deeply or something like that. Or weirdly religious.
Well, that's a thing on.
Are you religious?
Not really.
Okay.
That's the thing on dates and stuff. There too, though. Like, if you don't make a move or if you don't, try to establish something physical, then like the other person's gonna question your.
No, dude. I don't think so. If you're on a date, the first date with the girl, and you don't make a move, I don't think they're like, I think he's gay. I think that they're probably just like, oh, he was a little nervous, and plus, it's the first date. You don't have to make a move on the first date.
Yeah.
I would say by like the third or fourth date, if you haven't kissed, that's probably not a great sign.
Yeah, it took me like 20.
20 dates.
Well, maybe not 20 exactly, but definitely like over 10.
Over 10 dates with the first girl?
With the person that, I saw, yeah.
Oh, Bubba. That's too long, bro. That's a bad investment of time. Because whose fault was that? If you were to assign fault,
it was mine, 100%.
She wanted you to kiss her, but you were just like, I gotta really make sure that she's the right one that I want to kiss.
That's what I did. So like the first one happened.
That's so funny.
And I like paused it, and I'm like, oh no, like I want to make sure that this is a long term.
Oh,
I did that.
You're so cute. It's so sweet that like this is how much you want it to matter. I think that's really nice, actually, Shiv. And I nothing I say you should take to heart at all, because like the fact that you really want to care about the person is nice, and it's not a bad thing, and that should make you feel confident, to be honest. Like, you don't have to go out there and like be dating a ton of women and trying to sleep with all of them. If you just are trying to find one specific woman to like be with and like have sex with, like that's also fine. That's nice, and it's underappreciated. And I actually really, I think it's pretty cool. It's,
wow, we've really come full circle.
It's definitely gay as shit, but it's pretty cool. But wait, though, Shiv, were you like a drinker, or did you do drugs in college?
No, I didn't. I didn't really drink in college. I drink a little bit now.
That's where the difference of like all this is,
Yeah.
Because like drinking and hookup culture in college, it's the same thing. They're connected, They're not separate. It's not like there's like this giant group of people in college like, oh, we hate drinking and all we do is like make out and hook up. Like that would be odd. Of course there was that, but those people are freaks, And it's not like, every single time we drank in college, me and my buddies, it was like with the hope that we would, hook up with somebody or do something with somebody.
Yeah.
Even though it was like we were sloppy drunk and it was like never attractive at all. But, that's like, I think that's sort of the difference too, is like, if you weren't really involved in that then too much, then the opportunity wouldn't present itself that often.
Unless you really got to know someone like cared about.
Yeah. Unless you were like, in like a Habitat for Humanity club or something. And you were building a house with some chick in Alabama or something. And then, you guys are sharing the same tent. You pop a tent in the tent. She says, let me help you with that. I'm sorry.
You pop a tent in the tent. That's great.
I don't know.
I love how you said if you don't drink and you're not a part of like the bar culture, the way that you would have hooked up was through Habitat for Humanity. That was the first.
Well, that is the truth. If I wasn't in the drinking culture and I was still wanting to hook up with people, then immediately you have to go into the nonprofit culture. Sort of like any sort of like liberal cause, that's where you're going to find the most likely women to also hook up with you and be sober. Think I was sort of just grasping for words during those sentences, but the point I came out on is true. Easy women are usually left-leaning. In college especially, they're all trying different things, and you can find them at, no abortions or whatever, or more abortions, I guess. It wouldn't be no abortions.
Yeah.
It'd be pro them.
Oh, it'd be pro. Yeah. Depending on the person, right?
Depending on the liberal, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shiv, you have some other questions for me?
Yeah, obviously. I'd have a lot to learn.
Again, I'm not a teacher, not teaching you anything at all.
We touched upon the culture. We touched upon just like when you're like saving it. Oh, I feel like there's two philosophies. There's like one is like save sex till marriage, and then there's the other clan is don't save it till marriage. Right.
Two different styles of people for sure.
So if you're dating someone, right?
Yeah.
So like if you were dating.
If I was dating, which I am officially not.
Yeah, you are not. But if you were, and someone said to you that they were a virgin, how would you respond?
Like 10, 15 minutes.
That's how you respond?
Sorry, no. That's not how I would respond. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, my fiance was asking about timing. I'm on a little bit of a time constraint. See, this is why you never stop dating, because immediately they cramp down on your style. But no. So wait, repeat the question. I'm sorry, Shiv. I didn't mean to break up the flow.
If someone said like to you while you were dating that they were a virgin, and said you're like post college, how would you? I'm thinking of how I would respond to that as like completely fine. But even as a guy from like a girl's perspective, like okay, here's a good one. Like say you're a woman, which you're not. You're a very masculine man, but like
thank you.
And say like I tell you I'm a virgin, how would you respond?
Okay. No. I get the question. So basically it's like if I were to go on a date in my mid-20s with a woman and she said she was a virgin and wanted to save it for marriage. Yeah. I would say we were on different lengths of like what we wanted in this world, right? Yeah. And that it probably wasn't worth her time to really get to know me. Yeah. Or not get to know me, but like we were just not gonna, it wasn't gonna be the same thing. Or I would say, oh, I'm totally cool with that. And then, maybe try to sleep with her within a month or so. I don't know. That sounds probably more realistically depending on the human, I guess.
Yeah. You would try to like you're like, oh, this is the challenge.
Yeah. Probably something like that.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. People would probably say you can't do that nowadays. Like you can't sort of be like disingenuous with your intentions, but I disagree.
That's human nature to be
exactly.
I'm gonna give you another hypothetical. Say two virgins meet.
You're so obsessed with virginity. It's so bizarre, bro. And you're not even a virgin anymore. It's been 2 years. You've moved on. You kind of honestly, it's a bit of stolen valor. When you're on stage talking about your virginity, it's stolen valor because you're now a decorated soldier.
Yeah. Right. And that's what's coming up in the series finale podcast, Stolen
Valor. Stolen Valor July, where we celebrate our nation's non-heroes who pretend to be heroes.
Yeah, smooth plug right there.
Yep.
Two. Let's not get off the topic though. Two virgins meet. All right. So we're in India.
We're in India. Okay.
We're in India. Two virgins. So a lot of the times it's like arranged in India.
True.
People aren't usually like hooking up. Like the first person that you kind of like are arranged marriaged with, that's like the first person you're ever intimate with.
Right.
How do you learn?
Ooh, that's got to be fucking tough. I can't even really imagine. But it's not like it must not be impossible, right? I mean, India's been doing it for fucking thousands of years. So like it's got to be, I think, I don't know. Culturally, I have no answer for you, really. I don't know what you would do in that situation if I was Indian and my counterpart was Indian and we got married and we were both virgins. It's a pretty tough hypothetical for me to understand, Shiv, to be honest.
I had a feeling. I just wanted to see yourself put yourself in that situation.
You know what? I'll go put on my sari and try to really figure it out. Put myself in their shoes.
Well, for the male, it'd be a jumbo Lego.
A jumbo Lego. Well, all right. I would love to wear a jumbo Lego.
Yeah.
Sari is what a woman wears, right?
Right. But I guess if two virgins.
What about you? I got a question, Shiv.
Okay,
you have two sisters. How old are your sisters?
4 years apart for all of us. So
okay.
I'm 24.
So they're a bit older. Are they married?
Oldest one is, yeah.
Nice. And was it arranged or did she meet the guy?
No, met.
Oh, nice. Is he a white guy or is he Indian?
Not Indian.
He's not Indian.
Yeah.
See, it's so interesting to me because from the moment I met you, you seem to put off this vibe that your parents were very much wanting to keep you within the culture and, keep you sort of pure.
Yeah.
And, but it seems like your sister has totally not done that. And it doesn't seem like your parents have really put like a gun to your head about it, So why did you when you were growing up, why did you put this on yourself?
You know what I think it is? I think you're right in a way. I think and that's what I was thinking through in college too. I think part of it was like, I have these expectations of like, maybe marrying someone within the culture. Like obviously they prefer that, that's not,
yeah.
But I think that it's not like a tight restraint too much. Like, generally they still want me to marry,
Yeah.
But I think more of it was, you're right, like the anxiety with being physically intimate. It was more about that than it was about the other stuff. So like a lot of it was like, I'd fall back on that, but I'm like, oh, like, you're afraid of,
right.
You're a guy who's like afraid of making a move.
Right. Because it's easier to be like, my parents are too intense for me to try to ask this girl on a date. I couldn't even do it. Yeah, exactly. That is easier than to just be like, oh, I'm actually just terrified of, not being impressive enough for a woman to find me cool, or like just being too nervous about it.
Well, getting the rejection of like, if you make a move, like you go to hold someone's hand, like they don't reciprocate and you're like, that hurt, but like that can't, like, that's the part that like,
but so I think it's more of like how are you misreading people this often that you go in for a handhold and they're not?
Well, I haven't gone for a handhold ever. I've had a handhold gone for on me, but I've never initiated a handhold.
Okay, so then a makeout. How many times have you been rejected from a makeout that you've tried to like initiate?
Once.
Okay, how bad was it? Pretty
bad.
Okay, set up the situation for me.
Okay, we're gonna set up for confidentiality. Let's say I was in Argentina. I was in America.
Why do you keep putting yourself out of the country? What? You don't have to. I'm not asking for the person's name. It's
yeah.
It's got to be. I'm sure it's pretty standard. So
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, we're in
No. You're not in Argentina. Okay,
you're
in Rhode Island. It doesn't matter where you are.
Okay, we're in Rhode Island. I am, maybe her place is, coming up. She's about to walk up, and I'm like, okay, go time, pucker up. I had the mints earlier, and I'm like, all right, here we go. So, I was thinking about it for a while.
Okay. Now, what's the vibe of the date?
So, very friendly. I think, we were chilling. Like,
did she know she was on a date?
I probably wasn't completely clear in retrospect.
Okay, so that's why you got denied, because she's not on a date with you. She's just hanging out with you as a friend.
Right. So that's a big one. That's probably.
So it's just about a miscommunication caused her to not be into it, and that's fine.
Right.
was she like rude to you about it after? Did you take offense
No,
to
we
it?
ended up like actually kissing, but like I think like we ended up like kissing, so it was fine. But like after weeks, later, but whatever,
Right.
But yeah, it was just initially, that night, the night of especially the first time.
I saw you in the night of, actually. You were great. That's just good old racist humor. Sorry.
Wait, I don't get it.
The movie Night Of has got that Indian actor in it. It's like he's short king. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm short king. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's like you've never had any pop culture experience ever. Okay. So
that night, what happened, I had like a skate, like for like an organization in college. So I had like a skate like to go do, and I was like skating like with this, it was a nonprofit actually.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I told you.
And then I was skating, and I just had this weird feeling in my stomach, like, oh, that was, that felt awkward, But but you get over it. You're right. Like it's really not a big deal. Yeah.
It isn't a big deal, and it turns out you weren't like wrong. You just were wrong on the timing.
Yeah, and then how you like go in for it to like if you're like if you feel weird about it, that's a big part of it. Like if you're kind of like you said, nervous energy.
Right. If you're jumpy, they're not going to be into that.
Right.
But it's like you just take little temperature checks the whole way. You should be able to figure it out,
Yeah.
And
through meditation, through a lot.
No, not through meditation. No, you just say, "Hey, I don't know, dude. I'm not an expert at all at this. I know that in my experiences, it was just like I either knew and I like had a good feeling that I would take a temperature check in my brain and say, there's a 95% chance that this is going to get reciprocated. If not, I bailed, If it wasn't 95%, I was bailing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got to stay in tune with that temperature check.
Mm-hmm. But so what is the plan now? You're just waiting, right?
I'm not waiting. I talk to people. Like, yeah, whether it's through the apps and like, or through, listeners, if you have any recommendations, but like, if you, anyone,
leave full names of women that you think Shiv should date in the reviews of the podcast. That would be good. Names and addresses.
There's my dad sent this text the other day, and it was like a bio data text of like a resume of someone, of like an Indian girl, but it was like a resume.
Yeah.
And I like looked at it and I'm like, I can't, not yet. Like, not yet. I gotta try. Like, I can't. It's just so much.
Dude, take all the help you can get. It's very obvious that you need it. Maybe your dad's looking out for you,
But it's like it's like a job application. Like it looks like a job. Like it's like this is where these are my credentials.
That's all the dating apps are just fucking job apps.
Not
what does it matter? What's the difference?
I'd say it's more chill. Like
was she pretty?
I don't know. I just saw a resume.
Okay. Well, let's assume that your dad wouldn't set you up with some sort of mongrel, right? So we'll assume that she's like attractive enough, right? And it's not like, you're an attractive guy, but Prince, right? You're not, you're not the hottest man I've ever seen. So we need to lower expectations for ourselves. So you should just go on the date with her anyways, right? If she's available for a date, you should go on it, right? Because the more dates, the better you get at them. Plus, it's funny, right? Yeah. What a great non-sequitur to sort of just go to on a date and be like, this is so ridiculous. I can't believe my dad gave me a resume. How crazy is that, right? It's funny. This is even like the opening line that you could just text her, be like, hey, my dad is an insane man and gave me a resume and wants me to ask you on a date. And I know that it's really a ridiculous thing for a man to do, but in a lot of my life, my dad has actually given pretty good advice. So maybe I'll take him up on this too. If you're interested, let me know. No pressure, right? Yeah. That's easy. It's funny. It's silly. She'll laugh about it. Or she'll be like, this guy's a fucking psychopath. But it doesn't matter either way, dude.
Yeah, and that's so. Go back to your question of like, where am I at now? That's kind of where I'm at. Where it's like, yeah, just have fun, like go on date, like hang out, like be more chill, but just get to know people. Like,
so take this resume and go on a date. I'm telling you, dude, you'll have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what we'll do, Shiv?
My dad.
Put an AirPod in, right, and have me on the other end, and then I'll just talk you through it a little bit, and that'll be the follow up to the podcast.
Just gonna, when I'm like in tough moments, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and be like, Jack, like, I think I'm at a moment where I can go for the kiss. What do I do? Go for the kiss.
And I'll say, well, judging by the fact that you have to ask me about this, I know that you're not ready for it. I think that it's bail. I don't know, dude. I don't know really anything.
Yeah.
I'm a very, I'm not an expert on anything. I just would say you just need to be more relaxed. And I know that's hard to do, but it just is like,
it's necessary.
It's necessary. And the only way you're going to get more relaxed, though, Shiv, is by I'm not saying go fuck like every single woman you meet, but go on more dates. Just go on dates. Even if they're horrible, it's still like, well, I know what was bad about that, and that will make the next one more comfortable.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Just make sure that you continue to masturbate a lot so that when you do have sex finally, you can last a little longer.
Hey, I'm good. I don't know how good I would be.
Next week's episode, me and Shiv talk about masturbation anxiety.
How can you have anxiety doing that?
I bet you there's some freaks out there. There are freaks for everything.
But so we're winding down on time, but moral of the story, get out there. Not the Jack's saying this to me, but to maybe you guys don't need the.
No, I'm not saying this to anybody else. This is specifically curated for you, Shiv. Okay.
This episode isn't for the listeners. It's for.
No, this is for you. Only for you. You need to get out there. Where do you live right now? You're in New York City, though. You're gonna be a real estate agent in New York City. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's about 1 billion freaking people there. You can.
Yeah.
It should be fish in a barrel. You should try to do something like, 1 week every month where you go on a different date every night or something like that.
Hold hands.
No, stop saying hold hands.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm
Dude,
trying
you're creeping me out with the holding hands. What are you doing? If you try to hold a woman's hand the first night you meet her, she's going to punch you in the head. It's so bizarre. It's like you're living in a Disney movie. Hold hands. Why do you keep bringing it up?
I just saw this. There's like these comedic pranksters on YouTube, and like they do this trick where they're like, oh, like I have something in my hand, like can you hold it for me? And then the girl like goes over, and then he like opens his hand and just grabs her hand and starts walking.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So,
but don't do that. Stop talking about holding hands. Drop that out of your vernacular. You're freaking people out. All your listeners are like, what the hell is this guy about? But no, Shiv, honestly, just go, try and go start going on dates. That's the only way you'll ever get better at it. And you'll probably always be bad at it, but that's fine. Nobody's good at it,
Yeah.
The majority of people suck at it.
Right. Me and all the anyone listening, if you feel that,
send me a message. I'll give you a pep talk.
Jack can give you a pep talk.
I'll try and help you out. Don't message Shiv about it. He'll be like, you know what you should try to do? Hold their hand. Right. Shiv, I gotta go.
Got a message, Jack. Really quick before we go.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Good advice.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. I hope our listeners enjoyed that. And also, just really quick, I want you to name among these 3 names of like characters in movies and TV shows.
Yeah, please.
Who your favorite virgin was.
Oh, this is great. I love it.
So I have Steve Urkel,
Okay.
Steve Carell in The 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Okay.
and Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that's actually the most my favorite of those three virgins would be, I mean, probably Steve Carell. I quoted that movie a lot after I saw it.
Okay.
And he was 40, so that's like more unique, right? Like
Yeah.
Urkel was a virgin, but he was like, you know, he was playing a high school student and he was
Yeah.
a nerd. And then he had an incredible glow up and they had to make a whole separate character for the hot version of him. So
Right.
he wasn't a virgin much longer after that. Napoleon Dynamite, I mean, I don't really condone people with autism having sex. So no, just kidding. I don't know.
That's a joke for our listeners.
That's a joke. Of course. Of course, that's a joke. I condone Shiv having sex. All right.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Shiv, it was so nice talking to you, bro. I do miss seeing you out at open mics and stuff in Boston. So hopefully when things get back to normal here, we can hang out again. All right?
For sure.
All right.
All
I'll
right,
talk
man.
to you soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon. Peace.